Good morning, everyone. Welcome board members and guests to the Wednesday, March 23rd, 2022 meeting of the South Placer Regional Transportation Authority. Welcome to the public, to in-person participation. In addition, remote teleconferencing participation is available to board members and the public pursuant to the provisions of Government Code Section 54953E due to the COVID-19 state of emergency proclamation and recommendations for social distancing. Public comment. There will be multiple opportunities throughout this meeting for public comment. After I open an item for public comment, those joining us by Zoom meeting webinar can signal their wish to speak by clicking the raise hand button on the middle bottom of the Zoom webinar window. If you're joining over the phone, you can press *9. SPRTA staff will call out individuals one by one who've indicated they wish to speak. For those joining us in person, you're welcome to come to the podium. We ask that anyone making public comment state their name and city of residence. You'll then have a maximum of 3 minutes to speak, and we will notify you when your 3 minutes are up. If you experience technical difficulties or are unable to provide public comment during the meeting, please email your comments to Solvi Sable, our clerk at ssabol@pctpa.net. Board action: because this meeting is being conducted via teleconference, all votes will be roll call votes. Board members, we ask that you state your name prior to making a motion or seconding a motion for the record. Once an item has been moved and seconded, I'll request the clerk call roll for that vote. Thank you, and if you'll please stand and join me for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sylvie, roll call, please.
Broadway.
Here.
Holmes.
Here.
Howdeshelt. Joyner.
Here.
Got a quorum.
We're going to move very swiftly today. We need to get our business done by 11, so we'll move swiftly through the AB 361. Is anyone in opposition to approving this? If not, I'll accept a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second. Sylvie?
Okay. All right. Broadway.
Yes.
Holmes. Howdeshelt. Joyner.
Yes. We move on to item D, approval of the action minutes, January 23rd, 2022.
Second.
Boy.
All right, I have a motion and a second.
Broadway.
Yes.
Holmes.
Yes.
Howdeshelt. Joyner.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Agenda review, anyone?
No changes.
All right. We move on to public comment. Any members of the public wishing to speak on items not on our agenda today may do so now.
No, none here.
No public comment. I'll give it another 10 seconds in case Mr. Garabedian wants to jump in. No? All right, we'll move on. Item G, Regional Transportation and Air Quality Mitigation Fee Allocation Request for the I-80 Auxiliary Lanes South Placer Transit and the I-80 State Route 65 Interchange projects and Tier 2 Development Impact Fee Allocation Requests for the Placer Parkway Phase 1 project. That may be the longest title I've ever had to read. Mr. Carter.
Good morning. So this item's looking to include the I-80 Auxiliary Lanes project in the Tier 1 fee program and allocate funding to the following 4 projects. First is the I-80 Aux Lanes for the construction phase for $10 million out of Phase 1. I will talk briefly about it in a couple of slides, but Mr. Melko covered that in great detail earlier. Second project is the South Placer Transit Project. This project is connecting City of Lincoln, the Galleria Mall, Sutter Roseville, and Kaiser Permanente centers, along with the I-80 Watt Station. It is a regional transit project. It is being led by the City of Roseville. They have requested the $137,000 for design costs. This fits within the bus transit category of the Tier 1 program. The third project is the I-80 State Route 65 Interchange for design studies for $302,000 in Tier 1. Mike spoke about this quite a bit in PCTPA. This is basically to fund studies to make the project more CAPTI compliant. The last is the Placer Parkway Phase 1 Interchange project. Placer County is leading this project. They've gotten fairly far through the the preliminary engineering and environmental phase. They're asking for $6 million to cover right-of-way acquisition and utility relocations. Cover the addition of the I-80 aux lanes into the fee program. Map shows the locations which have been discussed earlier today, the PCTPA meeting. In terms of funding, as David noted, we are using a total cost of $42.5 million. The traffic modeling for the SPRTA program shows that in the westbound direction, 87% of the share of that project cost can be attributed to SPRTA, basically fee district development. In the eastbound direction, it's quite a bit lower. It's at 36%. It's a little further down the road, and the traffic is slightly different there that makes that difference. If you take those shares, what you end up with is the maximum attributable out of the Tier 1 program for that project is about $30.3 million. We are asking for an allocation of $10 million. The difference there is because we've got all these grants that are funding the project, and so the need is substantially less. And as David had noted earlier, our current estimates, our estimated gap is in the $5 million range, but we're in an area of rapidly increasing prices. And with the bids coming in, we've sort of allotted for an additional $5 million in here for a cushion so that if bid prices come in higher, we don't have to go through this process again. The attachment in the staff report looked at long-term funding and cash flow. I don't intend to go over this. It's what that table shows is these allocations as well as other allocations and also planned expenditures, something like the Rockland Road interchange. It's only been allocated at this point $2.5 million, but the cash flow, we have the other $7.5 million included in there. The whole point of this is to show what is the impact of these allocations long term. So when we look at the fund balance over a number of years, we see two things. Within the Tier 1, there's clearly adequate fund balance. There's additional programming capacity in there over the long term, and there are other needs, and they're just simply not timed and planned at the moment. And then for Tier 2, Placer Parkway is it's basically about 99% of the Tier 2 program, and we've pretty much allocated all the funds to that project over time. What we've allocated out is in addition to the long-term, we're looking at the long-term cost of the interchange, not just the $6 million they're requesting today plus the existing $6 million. So those funds basically go to Placer Parkway long-term. And that sort of concludes the presentation. We have the recommendations to add the aux lane project in Tier 1 and allocate the funds as shown to the various projects. I would note that Jason and Ken are here if there's questions on those particular projects. And I would also note that we do have kind of a copy-paste error in Resolution 2206. We note Brian Baker as the chair instead of Mr. Joyner in that one resolution, so that is a correction.
All right. Any questions or comments from the board?
Have none?
No.
Open it up to the public. Any member of the public wish to comment? Mr. Garabedian?
Yes. Oh, did he? Did Brian, hang on. I think he didn't make me co-host here. Where's he? One moment.
All right.
I can't free to speak. I'm sorry.
There he is.
Oh, there it goes.
There you are. All right. Mr.
Yeah,
Garabedian?
thank you for the opportunity to chime in. Yeah, we're quite concerned about Placer Parkway and oppose that project as it's worked on right now. Thank you.
Understood. Thank you. Any other members of the public wishing to speak on the item?
No.
Seeing none, we'll bring it back up here. Can we handle all these items simultaneously, or do we have to handle them individually?
You could do them together.
All right. I will accept a motion for all the items.
Broadway moves approval?
Holmes seconds?
I have a motion and a second. Sully?
Broadway,
Yes.
Holmes,
Yes.
Howdeshelt.
Yes.
Joyner.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right. Now that we've gotten through with our rush, we move on to item H, Executive Director's Report.
Nothing at this time that wasn't mentioned in the PCTPA meeting.
All right. Item I, Board Direction to Staff. Any direction from the board? Seeing none, you got a couple of informational items in your packet for your perusal, and if there is nothing else, we stand adjourned.
Thank you.